Yeah. Oh, great. And I got tagged to do this presentation. This is starting today. The city should have sent out this notice to all property owners in San Diego. It's about 300,000, right, to vote on the trash. Yvonne said she can read no.
No, it's going out to single-family home owners.
Well, it's also going to landlords and people who own the
But
property.
they have to be, it has to be a single-family home.
Single
So
family
there's
home.
they're saying around 233,000, 235,000.
Okay, well, I thought it was up to 4 units on a piece of property. Right? So that's the cutoff point. In any case, it's going out today. We're starting today, this week. So you'll be getting this in your mail, hopefully. I don't know what the envelope will look like. We're trying to encourage people not to throw it away. It'll be bulky. It's 8 pages, this thing. I printed it out. I don't know if it'll look like your water bill, where it will come from environmental services. I'm just not clear. But if you get something from the city this week and it's kind of fat, open it up. Take a look at it. I'm going to walk you through the 8 pages very quickly. So I think are important things. I've highlighted here. At the end of the first paragraph, says the proposed fee would apply to owners of single-family homes or multi-family residential homes eligible to receive city-provided and solid waste management services. That means if your trash is being picked up free right now, this affects you. That's one way to understand it. There's a public hearing. That's what this notice is for. The city council last month passed a resolution putting this out. Right? They didn't pass the fee yet. They put this out. This is what the resolution was back in last month. So there'd be a public hearing June 9th at 2 p.m. in the city council chambers. And there's the address, all right? And this is a public hearing where people can come and give their input on this proposal. Now, what's important, that right below there, the city council will hear and consider oral testimony and written materials submitted regarding the proposed fee at the hearing. Importantly, only written protests will be considered. You come to the city council meeting and you go, I don't like this, I don't want it, it doesn't count. It has to be in writing. You can do both, but just don't go, I feel lazy today, I'm just going to go down or get on Zoom and just run my mouth for minutes. That's not going to cut it. So, protest must be received by the city clerk, written protest by 2 p.m. on June 9th, before the meeting, or in person prior to the close of public input. So, more like 2:30, right, 3 o'clock. But get it in early if you can. The next important thing is, under the current framework, although all property owners in the city pay the taxes that fund solid waste services for some properties in the city, the owners and residents of single-family homes and condominiums located on private streets or multi-family homes with more than 4 residences must additionally pay for a private company to collect their trash and recycling. What the city is saying here is everyone pays property tax and sales taxes, but only some people get their trash picked up for free. And so this is an attempt to make everyone pay something for trash. How much? That's the open question. All right. Okay. Why am I receiving this notice? Because you have been identified as an owner of a residential property that may be eligible for city-provided solid waste management services. That's this thing right here. So like I said, you will get this. I'm just trying to walk you through what are the key parts. Because 8 pages, kind of your eyes glaze over after a while. Okay, how will the fees be used? The proposed fees will be used to recover costs and costs only. The fee cannot exceed the cost providing the service. There's no profit paid. Right? There's nothing. It can only be used to pay for residential solid waste management services for eligible customers. So it can't be used for anything else. Right? Can't be used for anyone's campaign contributions or anything else. Okay, next page. The city's general fund covers most of the costs for the city to provide residential waste and recycling collection. by environmental services. Okay, we're doing this exercise because voters back in 2022 passed Measure B. And Measure B removed the 1986 prohibition from the municipal code that prevented the city from charging a fee for residential waste collection. Right? So there was a city ordinance that said, you know, single-family homeowners may not pay. There's a 1919 ordinance, but this one really codified it. Measure B revoked that, allowing the city to engage in this process. Okay, there is a public engagement process, and this is part of it. It's gone on for a while. Okay, keep going. Scroll down a little more. Environmental Services is proposing the following service changes beginning this July 1st. Trash recycling and organics container repair, replacement and delivery at no cost. Right now you pay $70 to replace them. I know, because I've done it a couple of times. There'll be a new truck replacement schedule to increase reliability of service. They're going to hire additional staff. There'll be a new web portal, and delivery of new trash and recycling containers will begin October 1st. So the program starts July 1st, but you won't get new containers till October. There'll be weekly collection of trash and organics and bi-weekly collection of recycling, which is what we have right now. Right? That's not changing. Now, what they're proposing is curbside weekly collection of recycling and curbside pickup up to 2 bulky items per year.
That's July 1st, 2027.
Right. Yeah. So that's 2 years from now,
Yes.
right? That's an enhanced service. I don't want to editorialize too much. I'm just trying to run through this, but I personally don't need recycling every week. I could use recycling once a month. I never fill up my blue container. Yeah, some people do, some people don't. Right? I really don't. Any case, that's something we can talk to them about, because at the end of the month, well, after this meeting where they say, okay, we're going to pass something and you're going to pay X amount, they then have to talk about how they're going to make you pay for it, right? Whether on your tax bill or a water bill or how, right? Right now they want to put on the tax bill, and a lot of people are balking at that, including council members, because you pay that twice a year, right? As opposed to other kinds of ways of paying for it. And of course, you know, well, you'll see eventually that this weekly recycling and curbside pickup is going to increase your costs. We'll get to that. There's a whole chart about how these things are going to pencil out, so to speak. Okay, each property is required to have at least 1 trash container, 1 recycling container, and 1 organics container. So you have to have 1 of each. You can get more, and that will cost you more. Okay, next page. For fiscal year 2026, which begins this July, under the approach proposed in this notice, each eligible residential property will be charged the rate associated with 1 95-gallon trash container, 1 95-gallon recycling container, and 1 95-gallon organics container. What you have now, the big ones, right? So you're going to be charged for that. And it's good, I'll show you in a minute. It's bundle option 3 in table 1. Everyone's going to be starting at that rate. And they want to collect it on the county tax roll. Right? Again, that's up for argument and with the city council, but that's the proposal. They claim it'll save about $4 million doing that. I'm not sure why it would cost that much to put it on your water bill, right? Because that comes to the city treasurer. So again, that's something we'll have to talk about with the council. Now, go to the bottom, there you go. By July 15, 2025, the city plans to launch a new web-based portal for customers to select their bundle option service level and determine if they would like any additional containers. And again, starting in October, you'll get new ones and they'll replace the trash containers you now have. Table 1 summarizes the additional monthly fee associated with each container. If you, like me, will opt for the little black container, because again, I never fill up my black container. It's only my green waste that fills up because I cut branches and stuff. So you get the small one and you'll save money, and we'll talk about that. Now, let's say you're like me, you want the small blue container and the small green container, that doesn't save you any money. You're still gonna pay the same amount whether you get a big green container or a tiny one. And again, that's something you might wanna argue with the council about. If it's pay as you throw and I'm not throwing a whole lot of green waste or recycling, maybe I shouldn't pay as much as someone who fills those puppies up. So now, let's say I will do that. Well, I have to wait till the next year to get a credit back on my account for the lesser amount. So I'll be paying the full amount for a year and then I'll get a credit back. That's how they want to operate that. So again, something perhaps that can be dealt with. For instance, yeah, if you get the 35-gallon trash container, that's the smaller one. All right, let's move along. It should be over pretty quickly after this point. The customer portal is designed to allow customers to track containers they have on their property and to request changes once a year. So if you want a bigger or smaller container, and when that would happen, I don't know if it's staggered, if I get July and, Greg gets August, or if we all jump on it in April, right? We should probably crash the system. So I don't know how we're planning to do it. That's the idea. Okay, now to the tables. Okay, so the default option is bundle 3, 47.59.
One of each.
One of each.
One of each big can.
One of each 95 gallons, right? That's default. Everyone's signed up for that now, well, as of July 1st. The city will sign you up for that by default. That's the one.
Oops.
Right,
just keep going.
Okay, now myself, I would prefer bundle 1, right? Because I don't want a big black trash container, but you can see it drops the cost significantly, about $11. It's a change. Now, I really would like to be able to get 35 gallons for all of that, but it won't change by $37, right? Which seems, again, kind of bizarre in some ways, since I'm not using the service as much as someone else. Anyway, but you can see that as of later, if you have these enhanced services, prices go up quite a bit. Curbside recycling, curbside pickup and weekly recycling, you'll start paying for that. And then if you want more than one container, that's table 2. It gives you the cost there. So I won't go through that. This is all pretty obvious. And again, you'll get this piece of paper or pages of paper soon. All right, next page.
Yes.
Okay, so this is sort of the heart of the matter in many respects. Brett, stop. Do I have a right to protest the fee increase, right? So, of course, it's on page 7. I mean, you have to go through all this stuff before you actually get to the thing. There was a more recent ballot sent out that was one of these kind of things where you had to protest it. It was 1 page, and the thing was at the bottom, like this. It would look just like that.
It was the water rate one.
But yeah, but this one, I mean, when I first got it, I went, where is it? It took me, I had to literally scroll through it to find it. But anyway, here we are. You have the right to protest the proposed fee. This is Prop 218. That's why this whole thing is happening. Written protest must contain a statement of opposition. It's just this thing here, right? You don't have to write anything. You just fill out this.
Attention patrons, the library will be closing in 30 minutes.
Okay.
All computers will shut down in 15 minutes. Please print, save, or otherwise finish what you're doing soon. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm getting the bum's rush. Okay, the property assessor's parcel property address and the name and original signature of the property owner or customer requesting registering the protest. Only one protest will be counted for each parcel or address, right? So your spouse can't do one and you do one, right? Electronic protests will not be counted. It's got to be paper, put in an envelope and mail physically.
Or you can drop it off.
You can drop it off at the clerk's office, right?
My question is, how do we know that the city is going to acknowledge that they received this
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
and they counted it as a no? We don't know
Yeah,
because it's not going to an independent
Yeah.
counting.
Well, that's a good point, but I mean, yeah, I don't know how they're gonna do that. Again, well, that would be something to raise at the council meeting, right? What is the verification process of the ballot count? I mean, if they fudge the election, I think they'd have a whole other problem on their hands. And so, but in any case, that is not something I am competent to even talk about. Oral comments at the public hearing will be considered, but will not qualify as a formal protest unless accompanied by a written protest. If at the close of the public hearing, written protests against the fee are not presented by a majority of the parcels that would be subject to the proposed fee, City Council will consider and may adopt a resolution authorizing the proposed fee. So that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
If adopted, the fee will not exceed the values presented in tables 1 and 2. So it looks like the protest will actually be counted upon during the meeting or at the meeting. Now, the question is, will it be some big bin they roll out? I don't know.
Can you go back?
It's a question worth asking. I just don't know the
We
answer.
got some to go after this too.
Okay.
It's not just.
Written protest must be received at the address below and you know, or submitted in person prior to the public hearing, so you can walk into the room. Written protest may be hand delivered to the city clerk at the council meeting on June 9th up until the close of public input portion of the meeting. All right, down there. Financial assistance. Revenue from the fee itself cannot be used to support a financial assistance program. Environmental Services Department's requested funding from the general fund to support a financial assistance program. Go up a bit. Getting what's up there?
Yeah, I think on the top there's.
They're on the right hand side.
Okay, and then they will consider, right now, they don't have qualifying criteria, so they will eventually roll out what it means to be
Can you roll
that
down
subsidy.
so we can look at the table costs again, please?
Oh, roll up, you mean? Okay.
Roll up.
Oh, you mean to the table?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
can
go
see
up,
what
go
the
up. Keep
increases
going,
per
keep going.
year are.
Keep going.
Yeah.
There it is.
There's the
So
table.
look at what says July 1, 2025. It says I'm looking at option 1, goes 36.72 to 38, and then from 38 to 45.
Right,
Look at how fast it's increasing in 2 years.
right. Well, I see, well, that's an enhanced service. That's that weekly, that's that weekly recycling pickup, and it's the large items, all of which I actually said I didn't want. When they did the third grade, what do you
Get
want?
them what you want.
And part of the problem I know people have had is that if someone said, oh yeah, you know, not only would I like it picked up weekly, I want them to wash out my cans, right? I mean, the problem is they didn't attach a cost to all these wish lists, and so of course people are gonna go, well, yeah, sure, you want to pick up my soda, that's cool. But then they go, well, it's gonna cost you $20 a week. Well, you know what? Maybe I'll just haul it myself, right? And so, I mean, that's part of the problem. Any case, I do think that,
Scroll down to the
where was
protest
that?
form.
Scroll down to the what?
Protest.
Oh, no, in fact, what I was gonna say is that at one point, I remember, you know, Shawnito Rivera in particular said that, the city can decide whether to charge the full amount of their cost or to take money out of the general fund and reduce what's in that chart, right? That they don't have to charge you full freight as such. They can go, yeah, this is kind of a lot to ask, given all the other things going on with inflation and so on. So it's possible, again, at the city council meeting to make a pitch that, you know, there needs to be some kind of easing into this rather than just being dropped into the deep end. So
Okay,
to speak.
Alex, let's just finish it up. Tell people they have
Okay.
to fill out this.
Yeah, okay, so then here's the form. It's available for download. There's a cost of service study. So the form is pretty straightforward. Is this your name, oppose the proposed solid waste management fee? Assessor's parcel number or address, parcel numbers on your tax bill, and then you sign it. It's really easy. And then you send it to the county city clerk, sorry.
Make sure that the name you use is the name that shows up on your property tax bill.
Yeah,
And that your address is the address that's on the property tax bill.
yeah,
Don't start abbreviating anything.
no,
And
Well-
make sure your signature is your correct signature.
right. Well, again, I mean, if you go that far, you might as well use the assessor's parcel number. It's actually shorter than your address, probably more accurate. So if you're gonna have your parcel in there anyway, that would work. So anyway, so this is really the important thing. And of course, what's funny is that the address is on the other page, right? It would have been nice to have the address right above what you cut off, but it's over on the other page. So just it's in this thing twice. Just be sure you understand it, because often you would expect it like a bill to have it somewhere on here, but it's not. What I did notice looking at today, scroll up a little bit, is for some reason they next page go down. Oh no, go other way.
Scroll up.
Sorry. Yeah, stop. They put the QR code over text. Right, and so I was looking at the date going, wait a minute, I can't read all that. That's because the QR code is actually over the text. It's not in a blank spot. In any case, there's not a whole lot here. This is sort of recapitulates everything I just mentioned. It's effective July 1st. It might go on your tax bill. You have until 2 p.m. to submit your written protest, so on and so forth. So the last thing then, is that it? No, there's one more bit here.
Okay, and while you're looking at it. The city was so smart to send this to each property owner. They knew the property owner's name and they knew the property owner's address.
Yeah.
And they're sending this, why did they put?
They don't want to make it easy.
No,
Like, are you
no, they don't. In fact, I think that's part of the problem with this 8-page thing. It's not easy. Okay, the last thing I want to do, and this is the other part that's important. Once they've decided on the amount, here they had to figure on June 29th, they're going to figure out how to make you pay for it on your tax roll or some other method. Like I said, the water
On
sewer
June
bill-
24th?
June 24.
24th, excuse me, yeah, not 29, 24th. So it'll be again in the council chamber, and so even though June 9th isn't the end of it, right? Even though it will seem like it might be the end of it.
It very well could be if we get 50%
Oh, right.
plus one vote,
Right, which is 177,000?
117,000.
17, okay. 117,000 no votes. right,
And
which
the
is-
other thing
I have
is,
stuff to do
we are
too.
have 3 council people who have voted no.
Yeah, there are 3, yeah. Okay,
We
well,
could get 2 to 3 more that could vote no, and this thing will not go through.
well, that's true too. And again, even if you don't reach 50% plus 1, if you get into the 40-some percent, there'll probably be something that will be like a tsunami. So
And we're gonna
anyway,
lose
I'm gonna
internet
let
in
Laura
5
talk now,
minutes.
'cause basically, I just want to run through this kind of just the down and dirty nitty gritty part of how to get this thing done. I try not to editorialize too much. Here comes the editor.
Well, mainly the concern is that we try and get the city back to the table, because a lot of times when the city has something as set up and organized as this already is, they go through and get it through. So we need to be sure that we get a no vote in to even really have a chance to get the city back to the table to discuss these things. So, the history on this was the People's Ordinance, which Alex mentioned, and it was an ordinance regarding the trash for the city residents. Residential refuse would be collected, transported, and disposed of by the city at least once a week with no city fee imposed. And the city right now is, it says that the language said fee, many of the things, including the ballot said fee. And now all of a sudden, we're starting to talk about a tax, the fees, quote unquote, being added to our tax bill. And fees are specific for services paid for. They go directly to those services. But if you have a tax and it's just added to your property tax, that goes into the general fund. And there's no guarantee that it's going to go to the services that they're talking about. And the process of the election from 2002 was that the vote was by all the city voters got to approve this. And the vote was very, very close. Have you found it yet?
No,
Oh.
I know we had it and we
Do you
lost it.
still have my, flash
I have your
drive?
drive. I've got it in. I'm looking for it, but it's not coming up.
Okay, but the ability to have this vote and say no is a state law. And
Oh, there it
it's
is, yeah.
because only we are impacted by a vote that people who aren't impacted got to vote on.
Yeah.
So now we get a response as to if we really want, we're quote unquote the users. So we get the right to have a process to vote.
There we go.
Okay, I'm on page, keep going. I'm on page November 8th, 2002 elections, Measure B. Keep going. Those are just, Alex went over those pretty well, right there. The voters have been saying that the ballot measure language was misleading, and it never clearly stated that they would receive a fee for trash collection. The ballot title said, shall the city of San Diego Municipal Code be amended so that all city residents receive comparable trash, recycling, and other solid waste management services by allowing the city to recover its costs of providing these services to eligible residential properties, which could allow the city to provide additional services such as weekly recycling, bulky item pickup, and curbside container replacement and delivery at no extra charge. That was the ballot title. It is as convoluted as can be. Can you really figure out what they're talking about? Then there were business statements that followed. And go down to the next page, please. The measure only, even throughout the entire city, only succeeded by less than 1%. It was 0.976%, and it took over a month for the final votes to be reported. It just kept being out there, oh no, we don't have results yet, oh no, we don't have results yet. And a lot of people are very skeptical of that long term and how many people got contacted to get a vote in that could be semi-plausibly acceptable. A lot of people were concerned about that. Fees were stated in the election material. The voters didn't elect to have this charge as a tax. So fees were specifically stated in both the way it was written and in further statements on that ballot. As of April 12th, the City Council approved charges being added to our property tax bills. And almost all the, several county cities have trash collection fees added to their water bills, with the fees clearly designated. You know exactly what you're paying. You don't have to pay in X amount and the city does recalculating and tries to figure out what you're going to be refunded the next month.
Or next year.
Go down to the next page. This is what the tax rate is for all these other cities that already have trash collection added to their bills, and City of San Diego is the highest taxed city in the whole county. And some of those are very, some are close, there's no doubt about it, but you look at Carlsbad, it's only 1.6%. You look at San Marcos, 1.7. A lot of these places have had trash pickup and the fees added to their bills for a long time. And why the city's trying to kind of reinvent how things are done is a big mystery to a lot of people.
They want the money.
Keep going down. The opposition has dramatically increased right now.
Attention patrons, the lights will be closing in 15 minutes. The study rooms are now closed. All public computers are shutting down now. Questions will be closing in 10 minutes.
Okay, this is probably going to shut down, so I wanted to get to it.
Thank you.
A lot of the residents were, because they didn't understand what the language and what was being requested in the initial vote, are really starting to come out now and saying they never understood really what was being asked. So they really need to realize that this no vote can get this re-looked at, and we can get a real say, some real answers, and get the process done. Even if we decide, yeah, we'll pay for trash, we can get reasonable fees and we can get a program that we want rather than one that the city's already determined is the right plan, which is pretty much what it is now. Yes, ma'am.
Well, the other thing is Jan Goldschmidt, who used to be a city attorney, has said that we have and should be given the option of this going out for an RFP, a request for proposal from outside parties We can get the cheapest rate possible.
Well, every city really does contract with one of the main trash people, and it's really difficult to say, okay, I'm going to have Edco and you're gonna have the city. They don't know how to pick up. And so almost every city does have a contract with one of the
Right.
disposals, but they don't have them skipping houses and trying to get different people to do that.
No, but in our, that, it's like north of 8, you get Spectrum. South of 8, you get Cox, that type of thing. Because, I mean, look.
Yeah, but that's, you're saying that it should be up to each individual person from the sounds of it.
I'm saying the city should put out an RFP so that there would be eligible recycling, garbage, trash pickup, whatever you'd like to call them, that puts out, said, look, we can do your city, this is what it's gonna cost, and this is the fee. If it's gonna be $25 a month, and someone else can offer 30, let's go for the 25. Who the heck says we have to choose the most expensive, which obviously.
Well, the main thing
45.
is about this process right now is that we vote no and get the no votes in.
Correct.
Because that's the only way that we're really gonna have a say on all the things that have been talked about already, just right now, from Alex, from you, all the different items that are coming up that we want the city council to hear from us for. We need to first vote no. So you need to go ahead, review everything Alex did, review all this information. There's a lot of stuff. If you just go look up San Diego trash pickup, there are all sorts of articles from right around 2022 when the vote was in November, through all the way through recently. And part of the reason they're talking about giving us all new trash cans is because they want to microchip them so they can keep track of what we're putting in our trash cans. And some people have said, hey, we were against the traffic, the monitoring traffic lights, and now you're gonna monitor each person's trash can, and they're really upset with that. So.
All right, you guys, we have less than 10 minutes to wind up this meeting,
Yes.
so
And this
we have
one-
election results back there, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording.
Sure.
And, okay, thank you all.
And, yeah, just,
And no, in fact, the OB rag has good articles on the trash
right.
situation.
and there's a lot of places to go and get information. If you're on the border, on the fence on whether you think it's right or not, please go investigate. But if we don't say no, we're probably gonna get it's already been semi-passed at city
Can
council.
you go on a news channel and discuss it?
Oh, yeah, in fact, a lot of people are.